Hey everybody, it's Seth with Amped Electric Games, and I'm really excited to be here with the Black Cobra. The
What's
Black Cobra
up?
is going to be the Black Cobra I've chosen as my co-host for the Amped Electric Games for a variety of reasons. For one thing, he is a pillar in the EUC community. He's been an advocate for EUCs ever since I got into it. He's been there, he's been a constant. And so I really appreciate the Black Cobra and the fact that he's accepted my invitation to be a co-host at the Amped Electric Games. I'm super excited. And if you guys don't know what the Amped Electric Games are, it's a PEV festival, otherwise known as Personal Electric Device or Personal Electric Vehicle, September 1st through the 5th in Bentonville, Arkansas. Arkansas is pretty far away for you to travel. Have you ever been to Arkansas?
I have never been to Arkansas, and I can be honest, I've never had a desire to go to Arkansas.
What people don't realize is Arkansas is the mecca for mountain bikes. Anywhere there's mountain bikes, there's trails. And where there's
Uh-huh.
trails, there's places for EUC riders to ride. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited, super excited to bring everybody out to Bentonville, Arkansas to check out the Amped Electric Games. One of the things that really struck me from you, Black Cobra, is just your positive energy, your positive vibes, and the fact that you see all of this community as I see this community, and that's as family.
Mhm.
And that's really important for me to carry that through and to make sure that everybody feels welcome and everybody feels included. And it's really amazing. I want to thank you for accepting my invitation to be the co-host there. It's really exciting. I have to ask though, what's the event that you're looking forward to the most at the Amped Electric Games?
Ah, honestly, 2 things, and I'm sure a lot of people share my excitement, but I'm thrilled about the jumping because I've always
Yeah.
wanted to kinda get into the jumping, and we don't have that kinda thing here, so there's
Yeah.
nowhere, so I, like, find things to, like, jump off, little, little berm, little it's nothing, it's like baby j things for you guys, but
Yeah.
I wanna see if I can get some big air, you know what I mean? I'm a big dude,
Yeah.
so I got
Yeah.
takes a lot to lift this off the ground, so I wanna get up in the air. And second, those all those, like, in the woods single track action that you have combined with the jumps, because it's not just the jumps, it's I see the trails that are out that you guys are showing, and it's like you're up and down and curve and through the woods and through the trees and then jump, and then
Yeah.
I get so excited watching those trails, and I can't wait to get out there and get an opportunity to get some riding in on some of those amazing
I
trails.
think I heard mention the statistic they're building like 5 miles of new trails every week out there. So,
Oh,
like, every time I go back, there's more terrain to ride that they didn't have the last time I was there. So it's just growing in just leaps and bounds. It's really amazing. I do have to ask though, as far as off-road experience, have you done some trails and things like that?
ooh, yeah, I love off-road, like, I like riding on the street, but off-road, like, it's something about it that really gets to me, and I didn't really realize that until I started taking wheels into the woods, and I'm like, "I really like this,"
Yeah.
and one of the things that happened to me, like, I learned to ride, and then I got into it, then I said, "I gotta have a different wheel," then I got the 16X. 16X has a nice wide tire, and I started
Yeah.
going through the woods on it, and I'm like, "Man," and I remember because Showtime is one of my partners, she's like my ace, and we always do things together, and we were riding together at one point, and, once I got hooked, I had to get her hooked. We were riding together at one point, and she's like, she's shorter, so she sits down and flies, and she goes really fast on the road, and then we get in the woods, and I'm like, "Boom!" She's like, "What the hell?" She's like, "You're riding even faster in the woods." Like, since
Yeah.
when? I was like, "You don't understand. I get excited when I get on those off road trails, and I'm trying to negotiate." I went on one place here, and I'm like, the trees are like super close. And I'm like, squeezing between trees and cutting. And my heart was racing. I was like a giddy
Yeah.
school kid again. I was like,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
those endorphins kick in and your fear, your amygdala and your brain is telling you, you can't do this, you shouldn't do this, and your willpower is saying, I am gonna
yes,
do
I
this, I got
can.
to do this. it's so key because, that and you talked about endorphins, and it's true, when we push through our fears, when we overcome our fears, even as small as something as going off a curb or as going 5 feet on an EUC.
Yep,
I think that a lot of that confidence that we build kind of spills over into other areas of our lives.
it does.
And,
It
I've
does.
talked to people that have social anxiety, and I've talked to people that have depression, and they don't have social anxiety anymore, and they don't have depression anymore
Yeah,
because they got on these wheels. They became part of our community. And I really love what you're doing. I love this event that you have that's coming up too. You want to talk a
yes.
little bit about your event?
Yes, the Wheel Life Rally. Now, this part of the country over here, I mean, we don't have a lot going on as far as we don't have those big trails and those big areas that we can go and ride. There's not a big mountain bike presence like that here, but it doesn't change the energy and enthusiasm that you feel riding these things. So I was so moved when I started riding. I was like, I have to do some sort of event. We got to come together and ride because the biggest thing about me is it's not just my enjoyment. I have more enjoyment and more fun when I can share it with others. And that was one of the things I wanted to do. I'm like, I don't just want to do it. I want a bunch of people to do it. So I came together with the WIC 338, which is a world renowned dirt bike track out here, and it's in Southwick, Massachusetts. ESPN comes out here to cover nationals every year, and it's a great, fantastic track. And it's one of those things that I met with the owner, Rick at the WIC. Rick, Rick is so amazing. Well, I keep saying the
Shout
owner.
out Rick at the Wit.
Yeah, Rick at the WIC, that's my man. But Rick actually passed it down to his son, so his son actually owns it now. But Rick is still there every day, and he loves racing so much so that he dedicates and donates his time to us, and he builds us 2 tracks every year. One, he builds us a flat track in the lot, in the parking lot, the area that they have, and then he builds us a track in the woods, and he does all kinds of crazy things. And this year we're going to add an obstacle course as well. So my event is going to be Sunday, September 18th. So after we go to the Ant Games and get busy, we're going to come back and bring some of that energy and enthusiasm to the Wheel Life Rally here in Southwick, Massachusetts. So I'm stoked, and I can't even tell you how excited. Like when I talk about it, I can do a backflip.
Yeah.
That's how excited I get about it.
I have to tell you, man. I mean, you're inspirational to me. I've watched your YouTube channel for a long time. I've watched these events that you've put on, and I've thought, man, you were like leading the way in this stuff, and it has been very inspirational for me. You've got an infectious personality. You've got an infectious laugh. It's just
Thank you.
it's so it just makes me feel good to be around you and watch you and the things that you're doing, and I really hope that through this love of PEDs that we just let it out and let it spill
Yes.
over to other people. I guess the other question I have for you is, when I bought an EUC, I was the only one in my neighborhood that had one. I might have been the only one in the state that had one. I don't know. But you mentioned that you have some cohorts there. Do you guys go out on group rides and things like that often?
Well, the thing is that life and family gets in the way. So I mean, I have 2 like crazy jobs, and I have 5-member family, and the other guys, there's family situations there as well. So we don't get to ride together as much as we want to. I also have another group from Connecticut and Massachusetts that we ride together sometimes. So every now and then I can get with people to ride, but the sad part is that most of the time I end up riding by myself, and that's not as fun. I love to share this energy. So I try to
Yeah.
get with more people. So I'm hoping to increase the number of riders in my area so that I'm not the only one out there. So that when I ride down the street, I may run into somebody else who's riding the same thing. So I'm hoping that is the case soon. I continue to be the ambassador. Like I say, a good wheel ambassador. We got to be a good wheel ambassador and try to get more
Right.
people into this. And I continue to do that on a daily basis.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you there, man. I feel you. And I feel like, hey, if we can't get other people to ride, let's bring up some kids. Let's get some kids on these things. I mean,
Yeah,
they're used
you
to
see,
ride.
girl.
Yeah,
Kona.
they ride hoverboards, they ride electric scooters, let's get
Yeah.
them on some F10s, let's get them on some Teslas, let's
Let's
get them
make
out
it
on the
happen.
track. Yeah, I think that, this event, I think your event and then our event is going to really scratch that itch for a lot of people that
Mhm.
don't have people to ride with. Cause I'd really like to have some events where we all ride as a group, maybe do like a light parade or something,
Yes.
ride to town, and we all have that feeling because there's a real magic in riding as a group.
There
You
is.
all feel this feeling of oneness
Yes.
as you all ride together.
Yes.
It really brings people together, and that's really what these events are all about is bringing people
Yeah.
together, sharing the love, like you say.
That's
I said you've been riding for a while, and I think that you mentioned that your first wheel was an in motion. What was
V8,
your first
a
wheel?
V8, in
The
motion
V8. Okay.
V8. I was super excited to get that wheel. Now, as a matter of fact, I can tell you, when I learned about these things. Now, I was doing YouTube and I started with drones and DJI drones and stuff, and I started the channel. And I was like, all right, let me just try and share some of the thoughts and information that I get because I love my gadgets and gear. That's what my channel's been always about. And I was in the woods taking pictures with the Canon M50. I was doing like some promo shots and stuff. And these two guys come whizzing by me on these wheels in the woods. I'm like, what the hell is that? Right. As everybody does when they see them, right? And that was Jeremy and Anthony. And they were riding a MSX and a oh my goodness. Oh, I just lost the name of the big super weird that looked like the Batmobile. Oh my god, I can't think of the name of the
Oh, Z
wheel.
Z3
Z10,
Z Z.
Z10, Z10, Z10. Yes. So he had a Z10 and he had an MSX. And so we were riding, they were riding around and they're like, they start telling me about it. And instantly I'm sparked. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
oh. And I said, they're like, you want to try? I was like, hell yeah. So I get up on the MSX and I start wobble riding and he's holding me and I'm like, "Ooh, ooh," and I actually was able to ride it for a little on the first time trying. And then they said,
Wow.
they said, now try the Z10 because it's a little different. The tire's fatter. And I said, all right, I get on the Z10. I was able to ride up and back with nobody holding it. And the first time on it. And I was like, hell yeah, I gotta get this. So the next day I start click, 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 click. What can I get? What can I get? I'm like, I can't afford that one. Can't afford that one. So I bring it
Plus,
down.
it's an unknown. Like, it's
Yes.
an unknown thing. How
Yeah.
much money can I put out for this thing that I don't know?
There you go. And I still want a happy home. So I didn't want my wife throwing me out for spending money on this thing that she had no idea what it was. So I bought the Emotion V8, and the V8 was, cheap enough that I could get it and not get killed. Although I didn't quite tell her how much till later. But and I go out and I start trying to ride it. Now I do a video. I'm all super excited. Now, those of you who know these wheels, you know that the tire on a V8 is thinner than the tire on the two wheels that I was learning on. So
Like a brake tire.
I go to try and ride it. I'm like, whoo. Now I'm all wobbly. I'm like, what the hell? So it took me 3 tries over 3 days to actually get it down. And then, but I wouldn't give up. I was like, oh, screw this. I don't care. I'm getting this. Then I got it down. Then I'm like, all right. A week later, I was ordering another week.
It's like me. So like
a,
my story.
a week later, maybe 2 weeks, I pre-ordered the 16X.
Nice.
Oh, actually, no. I take it back. We found a used Tesla. Somebody was selling a Tesla, and we got a used Tesla that was all jacked up and shaking, and I regret buying that one. Then I put the deposit on the 16X, and the 16X was the first wheel that I was like, I'm all set now, and I was out. I was everywhere on that wheel, and then
Yeah.
then the Monster V3, then the Sherman, then the V11, now the Monster Pro, and hopefully soon the Master.
Coming soon
Coming
to a trail
soon.
near
So that's my that's
Yeah,
my wheels.
that's awesome. You know, I have a similar story. I started on the MSX. And I think
Uh-huh.
it started in 2020. I think it was 2020 May. And I remember looking at your channel and seeing
Yep.
some of your EUC content, and then looking at some like gear reviews and some other
Yeah.
stuff that you had been doing a long
Yep.
time. And I was like, this guy knows how to tube. It's like, this guy is I was like, "This is cool." So I was like, so anyway, I got the MSX, and then within probably 2 weeks, I was like, "I need to have I need to have a little 14D, a little KS14D," because it's very soon after you start riding these wheels, you realize that they're specialized.
Yes.
Each wheel has its little niche that
Mhm.
you ride in, and so
So
I think
true.
the KS14D, I thought I was gonna be like EUC Side Street Rennie, start going to skate parks and doing rail slides and stuff like that. That stuff's a lot harder than it looks. I have to tell you, a lot harder than it looks.
Yes,
But hey,
I agree.
we got EUC Side Street Rennie, we've got Kelly Chameleon, Shibby Time, Mike Leahy. We've got a bunch of VIPs coming into town.
Yeah.
I have to ask you a
Excited.
question. This might be like asking you like who your favorite child is. Who are you most ex who are you most excited to meet when you come out to the Hampton Ledger Games?
Honestly, there's so many people, and the whole group I'm anxious to meet, but Shibby, that's my man.
Yeah.
I like his vibe. He too has the positive vibe, but he's like laid back. I did an interview with him and with Kelly also, and I kind of I enjoy their vibe. So I know that we clicked on interview, and I'm sure that we will click in person. So I'm kind of anxious to see Shibby and get some of his knowledge and some of what he does and just the vibe with him and many others. Because, like I said, my thing is positivity and bringing us together with that same positive energy. And I feel like it's nuclear. I mean, it's like it really does like radiate, and I can't wait to be in that environment. So that excites me.
Yeah, I love that. I'll have to tell you, the first time I met Mike, he got to my house. He had been driving all day. I think he'd driven here from Bentonville in one shot. It's like 11 hours. And I said to him, he got in at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I said, "Hey man, I understand that you're really tired, but if you want to go for a ride, I got some really cool trails running." And he said, "Hell yeah, man, right?" We got on our wheels. We put on our helmets. We put on our lights. We were just cruising out through all these fields. I've got these fields here, and they have mountain bike track
Hmm.
through the field. So you just put your wheel into the track, and it kind of guides you. You just
Uh-huh.
decide how fast or how slow you want to go, and you go up on a berm, and the berm funnels you back onto the
Back in.
trail. And
That's what I want to
it
do.
is it is great. It is
I'm
fantastic.
excited for that.
And then, so we went out, we rode for around like probably 2 hours. We got home and we just started talking. And we were just talking, talking, and talking. And I turn around, the sun is coming up, and we've been
Yeah.
talking we talked
Yeah.
all night long. I feel like that's when you really know that you made a connection with somebody. It's
Yes.
like we just talked and talked, and it was amazing. And so, yeah, I think Shibby's a great individual. He's got a he's very stoic, kind of a personality, I think,
Yeah.
which
Yeah. I
I
see
think
it.
with the jumps that he's doing, you kinda have to have a kind of that mentality,
Yeah.
he's just a really, really, super rad human being and always willing to share. I remember when I just started jumping, I'm like, "How do you make it so the wheel doesn't spin up after you jump?" And he's like,
Mhm.
"Hey, man, you gotta just balance it. Pretend it's still you have to make the wheel think it's still on the ground. That's how you jump. You have to jump and keep it on that level."
Yeah. Ooh.
And so he was a real, big influence on me when I started out. So I think, Shibi's a great VIP. He's a great ambassador to the
Yeah.
sport.
Yeah. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. We've got some prodigies, some child prodigies that are coming.
Yes.
C girl, got Jonah from Kona coming, and I think you and I have the same type of idea that, or the same kind of a goal, and that's to spread the love of VCs and bring up the younger generation.
That's right.
And I think it's super exciting. I started talking to you the other day, and you were telling me about some amazing experiences that you've had, and I was just blown away. I was blown away. I was like, I knew this guy was good at public speaking just from your vibe, but I didn't realize how you had gotten good at public speaking. So, do you want to talk a little bit about your background?
Yeah, well, I have a very wide range of things that I've done. Um, I'm in the law enforcement. I'm also in the military. And through those both of those, I've traveled a lot, and I've done a lot of different things and events, and had to lead different things in community events and things like that as a supervisor. Putting things together. I also taught the DARE program for 6 years, so I was used to being in front of people and giving, different, classes and things like that. Um, but I was also a dancer before that, so I was on MTV for a little while as a dancer. I did that. I did, like 15 shows on MTV. I was also in a music video a long time ago. That's a story later on. And, and I've done a lot, to be, in the public. I've done a lot of things that other people are like, I ain't doing that. So between what I've done on stage and performances I've done there to the military sending me around the world and me jumping off mountains and jumping out of planes and stuff like that, the exhilaration and excitement through all that I've done makes me enjoy this wheel even more because it brings me some of that exhilaration and excitement that I've had to do all kinds of crazy things. I was in Hawaii jumping out of a plane, exhilarating, but I can do that if I go outside and jump on my wheel. You know what I mean? Like I can speed through and do whatever. It's just the feeling that these wheels give you. The, all the experiences that I've had I feel like they've brought me to this place. So I'm
Yeah.
happy, I've had this that I've told you and plenty more experience. I've done a lot of things in my life, and I attribute that to my mother because she there was no boundaries. Whatever you think you want to do, you can do. And she gave me,
Yeah.
even though she came from very meager beginnings, she had nothing, but she gave me that infectious laugh of hers and that personality of hers and that huge heart and that adventurous spirit. And I try to push that on forward. And these wheels give me the opportunity to do that on a quick, instant basis, no matter where I am. You jump on a wheel and go, you feel the excitement, the exhilaration, but you also feel the connection to others because everybody's like, whoa. And then now you got an audience of people that you're telling about this wheel. And then they're asking you, how do they get one? And, there's just so much. So the wheel has brought me a lot. My life experiences bring me here and give me the ability to push forward. And I really appreciate it. I thank you, Seth, for asking me to be your co-host and to help with the amped games. I was already pumped anyway. And, and it's funny because you and I are on the same trajectory. However, I was like, I'm not gonna be able to make it. I don't think I can only do 2 days. And certain things lined up and aligned where I'm like, oh, I can make it. And then all of a sudden, and then you and I talk,
It's meant
yeah.
to be.
And then you and I meet and start talking or whatever. And then, you invite me to co-host, and I'm like, oh my God, it really does feel like it was meant to be. So those of you who don't believe in destiny and don't believe in things being meant, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
That's
Sometimes things just fall together. God has a plan and he brings us together and things happen. So I'm very happy. I thank you again for inviting me and extending the invitation. I am very happy, and I think that we're gonna have a great time while out in Bentonville.
I can't think of a better person that would be there for this. I mean, it takes a village.
That it
It
does.
takes many hands to do this thing. I have to say, this is it's an amazing opportunity. I have to, really I put gratitude in my heart. I think that gratitude is an emotion that can be very healing. It can open doors for us. It can open
Mhm.
our perspectives. Being thankful for the opportunities that we're given, however small, however large they are. I think that I'm very grateful every morning that I have the opportunity and I have the privilege and the fortitude to do what I'm doing. And using your real life rally as a platform, as a springboard to try to bring an event that is really going to excite people. I feel like that there is a bunch of excitement in building for this sport. And I think that through the efforts of folks like you and I and the writers and the vendors and the manufacturers, we
Mhm.
really will bring this to the forefront and we really will show people that you can use them as transportation devices. You can also use them as a form of art, as a form of expression. You
Mhm.
can also use them to do work. You can also use them to do outreach to
So
other
much,
people.
so much.
And I see people all the time and they say, "I would never get on that thing." It's like, Come over here. Come over here. Come over here.
I'd kill
I think you
myself on
can
that.
do this."
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just amazing, and
Yeah.
then you actually convince them to get on it, and they're like they go back and forth, holding on to a light
Yep.
post or something, and you're
Yeah.
"This is actually not as hard as I thought it was gonna be."
You're like, "Woo,
I was,
I can do this."
I was I was at the, skate park. I was out in, I think it's called Les Campbell Skate Park. It's in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. And there was a little skate park underneath the Manhattan Bridge, and there were some kids out there. And it was like, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning or something, and I couldn't sleep. So of course I went over to the skate park and I took the advice that my good friend Shibby gave me. And that was whenever you go to a skate park, hit the biggest jump or the biggest gap immediately. So that you have a much less likely chance of anybody heckling you because they'll be like, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. So I go, I hit 2 or 3 jumps and one kid goes to the other one, "Did you see that guy ollie? I didn't know you could ollie those things." So I rolled over to him and I was like, "Hey guys, what's going up? What's going on?" And turns out it was some homeless kids and they
Oh,
were under the
wow.
bridge, so they were doing. And so I took that opportunity to say, "Hey, pay some attention, pay some respect to them. You guys want to
Yeah,
try it out? Jump on it. Let's check it out."
perfect.
And, I came from poverty as well.
Mhm.
And I was out of my house by the time I was 14 years old. And, I spent a few years on the streets. I spent some years, living a hard life. And, I saw myself in those kids. And I really
Mhm.
used that time as an opportunity to tell those kids that they had worth, they had value.
Yes.
Never let anybody tell you that you're worthless. Never let anybody tell you that you don't have value. And I said to them, I said, I've reinvented myself half a dozen times in my lifetime. It's never too late. Never give up. Keep on
Right.
striving, keep pushing. And I really wish at some point somebody had said that to me. And I think maybe somebody did, and maybe that's how I was able to pull myself out. But I really felt like if you feel like there's something in your heart that your heart needs to say and get it out there, just say it. Like
Yeah.
I find too many times we're self-censoring what we really think, what our
Mhm. We
true
really
feelings are.
feel. Yeah. And that's
And
one of
that
the
was
things I think that's one of the things that another one of the things that, excites me about these wheels is that you were brought there on the wheel at this time, this place, and we're able to reach out to these kids, and that's one of the things that I like about this is it brings me out to different places that I probably would
right.
not have been if I were not riding
Absolutely.
the wheel, and it gets me
Mhm.
there in a fantastic way, and it gets me there full of exhilaration and excitement and ready to share and ready to talk with people and ready to meet with people. It puts me after a crappy day, because 'cause Imma be honest, today was a really crappy day at work, like, epically, but it was just knowing that the wheel is in my life, that it can bring me some joy, and just knowing it's there is exciting, you know? Knowing that I was gonna be able to talk to you today and talk about the wheel is like,
Yeah.
cool, it brings that excitement. So I truly am, these are the things that fuel me because many people in my life ask me, I can't believe you're happy like that all the time. You can't possibly have all that energy all the time. And I'm like, honestly, it's things like this that fuel it. You know what I mean? Because I got plenty of stuff to be sad about, plenty of stuff to be upset and angry about. You know, I have 3 children. Trust me. I have to and I raised 3 stepchildren before. I mean, so I know that it's a lot in this world that can bring you down. But at the same time, if you take the time to use things that you find along the way that give you joy, that give you life, that give you energy, and you use them to fuel the rest of your life, life can be magical. And I still contend that I want life to continue to be magical. So that's
Yeah.
why I'm just so happy about what we're doing. I'm very glad that the Amped Electric Games is going to happen. I'm very glad that the Wheel Life Rally is going to happen. I'm very glad that going forward, we are going to continue to push this wonderful thing, these wonderful devices, and it's only going to get better from here. So I'm
Yeah.
excited.
100%, man. And just having this whole family come together at the Real Life Rally, at the Amped Electric Games, and beyond, because this
Yes.
is not the end. This is just the next event. You
Getting.
know,
Yeah.
this is just the beginning. I mean, hell, Cobra, you and I might be commentating the EUC Olympics. Who
There you
knows?
go.
Who
There
knows?
you go.
In 20 years, I mean,
There you go.
stranger things have
Was that a shivvy? He just pulled a shivvy off of that. I can see it. I can see it.
720 Shibby McTwist.
I love it.
I
I
could
love
see
it.
yeah, man. I could see that in the future. I could see that for us, guys
Yeah,
like us,
definitely.
commentating these games in the future and, slope style events on EUCs and
Yep.
downhill racing. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just amazing where we're going with the technology and people often say like, "Oh yeah, you guys have these wheels that are, a couple $1,000s, whatever." Not everybody can afford them, and you know what? They can't right now, but
Mhm.
if we keep on pushing, if we keep on with our eye on the prize, that's
Yes.
making it accessible to people,
To
accessible to
everyone.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yes,
So it
and,
can happen.
I love the camaraderie that we have. I also love the fact that a lot of times when somebody gets done with a wheel, they upgrade, they'll give it to the next guy,
Yep. Pass it on.
passing it
Pass it
on, and
on.
I think and that's another way that we can just spread the love of these devices, and I'm super excited to have you as a co-host. I cannot wait, the Anthem Electric game, and I can't wait till the Real Life Rally. I'm gonna try to make it there.
There you
It'd
go.
be amazing if we can get
Yes.
there. I just wanna thank you again for being an advocate of our sport and for being such an amazing human being. I
Thank you.
look up
Thank
to
you.
you. I respect you,
I
and I can't
appreciate
wait
that.
to see you again in person.
Yes, sir. I feel the same way, my brother. And we will talk soon. And you guys, make sure you make your way to these events because it only gets better, people. It only gets better. We can do this. Wheel life. Let's go.
Peace.